So thank you so much for those of you who are tuning in. The title of this PD is called AI Lesson Revival. We're using NotebookLM in Magic School to refresh, reteach, and reimagine our lessons. I am Talia Cotton for the Central Carolina Literacy Council. I have 18 years of educational experience. I'm a doctoral candidate as we speak at FSU, or Florida State University. Proud to be a part of the organization, North Carolina Reader Association, and the Central Carolina Literacy Council. I presented over the country specifically about generative AI. So I'm really proud and happy to bring this to the Literacy Coalition, our association, and our council. So if you would like to go ahead and grab the slides so that you can, one, interact with me as we do the presentation. There are some things that will give you like a hands-on experience to NotebookLM. And so I'm going to pause for a second and give you a moment to grab those slides before we move on. And after the 4, it's a O, the letter O, not a 0, it's a letter O. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. So one of the reasons I wanted to bring this to educators' attention is because of this powerful tool called NotebookLM. It is a research and note-taking tool that incorporates generative AI and the document so that they interact. They help educators by helping them create content, helping them with their course design, student support, things of that nature. And so I want to give you a little taste of what NotebookLM can really do before we even get started.
Okay, let's talk about a new AI tool that could be a total game changer for educators. If you're an educator, you know the feeling, right? Drowning in articles, videos, and papers for your lessons.
And so what you just saw was a video made by NotebookLM, right? I want to make sure that we see that and we hear that. We are able to actually make videos for Notebook using NotebookLM. So that's going to be highly important that we remember that we can take any of our content and make an actual video of our content. This one right here, as you can see, it's 1 minute and 30 seconds, but other videos, right, can be longer than that. It just depends on what works for you, right? So I'm going to give you this minute to let you hear that. It will be found on YouTube with this, the slideshow as well.
Okay, let's talk about a new AI tool that could be a total game changer for educators. If you're an educator, you know the feeling, right? Drowning in articles, videos, and papers for your lessons. Well, meet NotebookLM. It's a tool from Google designed to help you wrangle all that information. Now, the key here is something called source grounding. The AI only uses documents you give it. And that's what's so cool. Your materials become its entire universe, its only source of truth. So
I want to draw your attention to something really quickly. I made this notebook to talk about NotebookLM, and I uploaded some presentations I made along with some other research about NotebookLM. And one of the things that the videos will do, it will pull from the document. So this is an actual screenshot of a slide that I used in one of my presentations. So I want to make sure you take notes of that. So think about how you can upload your lessons, upload your presentations, and it will take that information and show your students, show your workers, show the people that you need to see based on what you've asked it to do. So take note of that.
So, unlike other chatbots, its answers are perfectly tailored to your curriculum. No random internet facts. And getting started with it is super easy. It's really just a 3-step process. You just add your sources, chat with the AI about them, and then create new content. Simple. You can make all sorts of stuff: quizzes, lesson plans, you name it, all tied directly to your work. This is huge for supporting every student. You can adapt content for all kinds of learning needs.
So notice what it says, that it's for all students. So using this platform will help you support all students, right? And we'll talk about more how you can support those who have more of a propensity to like more audio. So it'll make an audio podcast. Those who want that visual stimuli, we can make reviews, study guides, all of those things. We can even make a video just like this in another language, right? So think of your multilingual learners, how they don't have access to the language and the variety of language that we might have as a native speaker. You can then put it in their native language, right? And most of the time they might not be able to read it very well, but they can hear it, they understand it when it's being spoken to them. So just be mindful of the idea of what you possibly could do as we go along in this presentation.
It can even turn your notes into a podcast. I mean, talk about a game changer for auditory learners. Look, the point isn't to replace critical thinking. It's more like a power tool for your brain. This lets you shift class time away from memorization and toward real analysis and evaluation. But of course, you've got to use it responsibly. Always verify the info.
So notice it's still telling you, right? And that's based on the research that I put into the notebook. You have to verify the information. Though this is going to give you more accurate information because it's based on your vetted sources, you still have to check and make sure it's saying the things that you want it to say. You have to protect privacy. You don't want any identifiable information put into the notebook, and you want to make sure that it complies with the policies of your organization, your school, your district, right? Here in Wake County, we actually have NotebookLM as a part of our Google Suite, right? It's a Google platform, but you have to check with your organization to see if this is something that will work. And of course, bias. And I will say that because you're using your sources, it does cut down on some of these issues. So,
And protect student privacy. So it leaves us with a big question. How do we actually teach our students to learn with AI?
and so you just got a
Okay,
nice
let's talk
sneak
about a new
peek.
AI
You
tool that
just got a
could be a
nice
total
sneak
game
peek
changer for educators.
of that, of what Notebook LM can do, right? That's just the video. Right here we have audio, a deep dive into some topics, and so this is just a sneak peek of what you can do. Let's go a little deeper and a little further. And so Notebook LM you can take the information from your standards, your topic, your sources, and you put all of that into Notebook LM, and you make and create an actual notebook based on that topic. So for example, I teach my students, I teach English, right? At the collegiate level and at the high school level. One of the things that I teach on a regular basis is main idea, central idea, theme, right? And so I made a notebook LM for what is it called? That topic, right? I put my standards in there. I put all of my old um research in there. I put YouTube videos. I love Khan Academy and how they're making just great content for English now, or it's been for a while now, but I love their videos about main idea and all the other strategies that they have. I'll put in all my old lessons. I've been teaching for over a decade, and so I have plenty of strategies and content that I put in there from my Google Drive, and I loaded all of that in there. As you can see here, I put in there 133 sources, things that I created, right? So these are things that I created. There are things that I got from other sources. There are things that I cut and paste from things. And so like I put all of that in there, and I use that to now make content, right? And we'll explore that a little bit more. And so what I love about this is now I can create based on my content, my standard base content. I can now create instructional material that's a higher level than just maybe a PowerPoint. I can do a podcast for my students based on that topic. I can do an overview. I can do a mind map, flashcard reports, study guides, quizzes, right? And the Gen AI is going to focus on the material that I have. That's the game changer. So as the video said, you can go out to Chat GPT, Gemini, Copilot, and you can actually ask them questions and they'll give you fairly good information because general knowledge is out there. But it's a different thing when you are asking questions and they are giving you answers, the Gen AI, they're giving you answers based on your resources, right? And so that's the thing that I really want educators to kind of lean into when we're talking about Notebook LM. We're talking about vetted materials that can help support your instructional content and your learners. So I want you to we're going to take a quick sneak peek at a video I made talking about the difference between central idea and main idea. So you can see like instructional content at work. We're just going to take a quick chunk of it to like look at it. I'm going to move it around so you can see some things I want to highlight for you. So let's take a moment.
Have you ever finished reading an article and just thought, okay, so what was the point? Or maybe you've closed a novel and wondered, what was I actually supposed to get from all that? Well, those are really common questions, and today we're going to clear it all up by digging into two super important reading concepts, the central idea and the theme.
You know, this is such a classic mix-up. People throw these words around like they mean the same thing, but honestly, they're totally different tools for.
So one of the things that I want to alert you to here in the last maybe 2 weeks to a month, NotebookLM has elevated their video content. So all this lovely visuals and these colors, this has just been added with Nano Banana. And so back in the day, like, 2 weeks ago, a month ago, you would just get more basic information, more font. As we know, generative AI is increasing exponentially at a rapid rate. And so here's some of the things that it can do that it couldn't do in the past, right? So there's a couple things I want to show you, right? When they make a lesson for you or they make a video for you, some of the things they're going to do is they're going to break it up into sections and they're going to talk about each section. Now that's great teaching right there. So for this section, they're going to talk about central idea, specifically for nonfiction text, right? I told it to give the definition. I told it to explain I told it to define central idea and theme. I told it to explain the difference between the two. I told it to model those two, right? And then I asked it to provide a practice. And so that's what it did. It defined central idea. It started to explain it, right? That sometimes central idea can be directly stated, sometimes it's not. It's about the details. It's giving the listener all of that information and the viewer, right? It's talking about how to find it, and it gave a great analogy about the trunk of the tree is the central idea, while the supporting details are the branches, right? And then what I loved about it is it gave you a story, right? So we can kind of look into what a central idea in a non-fictional text looks like. But then it gave you a strategy for how to find it. And this is a strategy that I use with my student. Find the topic, find the main idea, find the main point, and then state the central idea, right? And so they're giving them strategies based off what source material I have, right? And so then it's going in the theme. It's going to do that same structure because I've told it to do that structure, right? It's going to give it that practice and it's talking about that. And what I like that it does at the end is that it's going to ask like a good closing question, right? And so I found that to be really helpful. And one of the best practices when it comes to showing videos, instructional videos, you want to pause, you want to talk, you want to let the video go. You just don't want them watching your students or even your participants just watching a video without you inserting your expertise into it. But this is a great way to like make instructional content that's based on standards, based on SLOs, right? Learning objectives, right? For your content area, and still providing, and it's cutting down your time. So I love this.
Am
I
I
know I
looking for
can't
the
be the
author's
only
point,
one.
or am I looking for the story's lesson?
I know I can't be the only one that has some of those nights I need to teach, but I just don't have the time to make a PowerPoint. You can make a quick video based on what you know your students need to learn, and you can practice those best practices when it comes to using videos as an instructional content, right? So let's go to the next thing. So what I want you to do based on that link that I gave you is I want you to try out some of this content, because before I get into how to do it, I want to kind of tickle your fancy with what you can do. So what I gave you here is my culture notebook LM. I let you have access to my main idea notebook and then my writing notebook. And so pick one, pick all. We're going to take about a few minutes. And those of you who are watching this on YouTube, you're welcome to kind of pause this, play with it, and then come back. I want you to look at some of these videos that I created talking about main idea, central idea, culture. Listen to the audio, play with it, look at the content, because I just want you to spark your interest about, hey, this might be something really awesome to look at and use in my day-to-day life as an educator. So let's take about, I'm going to give 2 minutes, and then we're going to come back. And those of you who are on the video, you can pause and take all the time you want and come back. All right. And so the time is yours.
Hey,
So you had a couple moments to go in and look at some of the content that I've made using Notebook LM. For those of you that are with me in the chat, tell me what you think. And those of you who are in YouTube land or Facebook land or even Instagram land, maybe even a little TikTok, tell me what you think about how the content that was made. Maybe brainstorm ideas about what you could do with something like that if you're in English. What do you think? Good? Thumbs up? Thumbs down? Yes? No? What are your thoughts? Do a little quick think and share, and you can throw it in the chat for me, please. So someone said they love the note card feature. And when we explore it, I'm going to show you some other things that it can do. I fell in love when I first used it with the audio overview. And now I'm totally obsessed with the videos, right? And I'll show you some of the things that I've been doing with the videos. So let's go ahead and keep going.
hey everyone, and welcome. Today we're going to talk. Hey everyone, and welcome. Today we're.
So now I want to show you the actual notebook and what is a part of that, right? And so you will, to get started, all you need to do is go to Notebook LM. You create a notebook that's organized. My best practice for you, create something that's based and organized around standards, topics, or some type of product. or project. So for example, I have one that's dedicated to essay writing. I have one dedicated to culture because I teach culture in one of my college courses, right? That's the topic that threads all of our writing together. I have one on main idea. I have one on NotebookLM, right? I have one on, I have all of the PDs that I've ever done about AI in one notebook. Like if you link it with the similar topics, it then can give you a great output. And that's where you will go and you will upload your existing lessons, your presentations, your handouts, your videos, your reading. I am a fan of Khan Academy. As I said, you can upload those YouTube videos on there because they're a vetted resource, right? You can put in websites. So something from I did a notebook for my civics teachers on the Constitution, and I uploaded the National Institute of the Constitution. That's a great vetted source, right? And so you upload all of those source materials. So now everything you do with the chat, with the content, are all founded or grounded in that content that you, or in that resources that you put in there, right? All the responses are going to go back to that. So really quickly, what I like about it, so we can stay in an educational framework, right? It's going to allow you to use some multimedia, multimodal type of content. So what does that mean? You can have audio overviews. You can have videos that's auditory and visual. You can make summaries. You can make study guides. You can make flashcards. You can do all of these great things so that you're not just stuck with a great slide and that's it, a great slide and a worksheet, right? It moves us out of that type of teaching, which is fine. We've been doing it for years, but now we have something that can raise us up and refresh what we do. And it has impacted my teaching in the best positive way. I feel like I can use those multiple exposures. So we're looking at the bottom of the slide. I can use those multiple exposures. So, hey, if here's the content, whatever you need, I can give it to you in a PowerPoint. Here you go. I can give it to you in a podcast, right? Here you go. I can give it to you in a video. I can give it to you in a summary. So I can make a summary document. I can make a study guide. I can do all of those things, but it's still the same content structured in different ways. The student feels like it's new, but they're continuously reinforcing those neurons on the topic, right? They're great for those retrieval practices and recall. So over here, we're doing something with the topic and then we're shifting and we're doing something with the same topic, but now it's making you harken back, right? And then it's a time saver. Honestly, I know no one watching, no one being with me here is actually no one is in here. Sorry, so no, I want to make sure that no one in here is gonna do what I say they're doing, right? So as a teacher, we're always ready to go. We're always ready to teach a lesson no matter what's going on. Our kid's sick, our dog is ran away, our tires flat, and we know we're gonna go and we're gonna make a great lesson for that next day, right? But some human teachers like myself is like, I know I need to teach my students. Life is lifing, and what am I gonna do? Imagine going in and just making a video on the topic that you need to teach and using those video instructional best practices. So it takes about 5 to 10 minutes for the notebook to make the video, and you have some great standard-based material that you can present to your student in a way that they love, because they love a good YouTube video. Most people don't even have cable anymore, right? And you're teaching, but without sacrificing your humanness and your personal life, right? 5 minutes. You can literally do that right before you get up out of bed, set it, let the notebook, and I'm not saying I've done this, but I've done this, right? Set it in the morning. Okay, I have to teach my students how to find the relevant details, make a video to find the relevant details with the strategies. Click, now let me go get dressed. And now I have a lesson for my students and I'm done, right? Time saver, and it's great instructional content. So let's get in there and let's play with it a little bit. Let me orient you to what it looks like. You have the sources. This is where you can put your sources. and I'll go over what that looks like. Right here, this is where you can put the chat. So this is where you can actually talk to the documents. And this is the fun part, the studio, right? Right. You can become Spielberg of education, right? You can make your podcast with the audio overview. You can make your videos with the video overview. You can make mind maps, reports, flashcards, quizzes, all of those things. You can even type in there and say, hey, my students don't know how to find the relevant details in a nonfiction text. Provide me with strategies that can provide me with 3 strategies that can help my students find the relevant details. It's going to spit it out. And I can make a presentation for that. I can make a study guide for that. I can take that over to Magic School and make a presentation with that. And it's all from vetted sources, right? So what I want to do is we're going to actually go into the notebook, and I want to show you what you can do, right? And so someone says she can go in there and they can upload resources into this notebook, and then all they have to do is use the chat to work on a lesson plan. Yes. So for example, great question. And I'll get to that actually. Let me start here. Source work. You can upload a PDF, a text, a markdown, an audio. And for some of these, they're slowly but surely integrating a Word document. Some of them are updated and some of them are not. So they're slowly working on being able to upload a Word doc. But when in doubt, make it into a PDF. You can also upload anything from your Google Drive. So you click on Google Drive and it will then take you to your Google Drive. As you can see, here are my recent stuff that I've done, right? And I can just throw it in there and go, right? So I can go in here and I can click on main idea, since I'm talking about main idea. And here's all of my material from main idea. As you can see, I have a whole main idea folder, right? Here's a bunch of instructional material that I can just dump in there, right? So be mindful of that. That's so great. Then I can put in a link to a website. I can put in a YouTube video. I love a good YouTube video. Or I can just cut and paste text that I found, out there in the ethos, that, or something that I think a central idea is blah, 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 things that I know I want to put in there. Once I do that, all of your material is going to show up here. As you can see, it's a lot, right? It's a lot of material that I put in there, right? I've been teaching main idea for over 15, 17 years, something like that. I've been teaching it for 18 years, a long time. So I have a lot of stuff and I save everything. For this part, for the chat, this is where I can actually, so someone asked me, is there a limit? So I notice I have what's called Pro. When you have Pro, you can get 300 sources, and I have maxed out on one of my notebooks, the 300 sources. If you don't have the Pro, you can have 50 sources. A great way to kind of add more sources is there's something called PDF Candy, right? That lets you merge PDFs. So let's just say you put in a whole bunch of stuff and now you're at your 50. Go in, take away some of those PDFs, merge the PDFs into one document, submit that, and then you can free up some space. But I use Google AI all the time. I need a 2 TB terabyte drive. So I have the Pro. It's like $20 a month, I think. And so I just bought the Pro, but the free version is enough. 50 sources talking about one topic is still a robust amount of information, right? And so someone asked about lesson plans, right? So this is the thing that I've been doing with my students. I'll teach like the good teacher that I am. And I will then go and I will look at their assessments, and I'll notice they keep not finding the relevant details of the central idea or theme or main idea, right? So then I'll go in and I'll talk to the chat. No, actually, I'm going to do this one. create a lesson that provides strategies, or not strategies, tips for finding the relevant details of a central idea, right? And then I can give it more input. So my teaching strategy is always define, define, explain, model, and practice the topic. So what it's going to do is take this, and it's trying to correct everything, but I'm going to send that to the chat. It's going to think, it's going to pull everything from my 133 sources to fulfill my request, right? And so while it's thinking, let me see how long it's going to take to think. Okay, there it is. So look at it go. Bam, bam, bam. Now I want you, as it's thinking and pulling up things, notice those little blue numbers, right? When in doubt, always cite. And so it's telling you where it got that information. It got that information from this source. So anytime you see these little bubble numbers, it's telling you where it got the information from, right? That's a great support. I can take this whole lesson, finding relevant details for a central idea. I can take this whole thing, either I can cut and paste it by highlighting and dragging it down, or if you look here, it has a great copy button. I can click the copy button. I can go over to the Great Magic School, find the presentation generator, and I teach 9th grade. I want 5 slides. I can have 5, 10, 15, 20. I just want 5. And all I'm going to do is, drop that information right in there, right? I can give it some more information, like tell it my standards. I can upload things like that. But for right now, for the sake of time, I'm just going to put in what the content that it gave me, and I'm going to have it generate a slide. So quickly, it's starting to make that slideshow for me, right? Based on the content. I want to go to export, and those of you, I know I'm going fast. I only have like 15 more minutes, but you can pause, you can replay so that you get this information. But you go down once it's finished and you hit export, and you can export it into a Google document, Microsoft. You can print it, Google Slides, or PowerPoint. I tend to do Google Slides because it's going to go straight to my Google Drive. So when I export it, it's going to start me off. Instead of starting me off at scratch, it's going to start me off at edit. And those of us who know the writing process, edit is a great place to start, because I don't have to brainstorm. I don't have to draft. That's done for me. I now have to edit. And that goes back to making sure that you are vetting the information, because it still makes mistakes, right? And so now it starts me off at edit instead of blank. Instead of a blank screen and a blank canvas, I have something to now work with, right? And so I can go in here and I can vet the information. Like, I don't need this. I can delete that. I don't need that, right? I can see all of the information, but it's really dry, right? It's really dry. So what can I do? I can put a theme in there. So I can go over here just to add a little bit of pizzazz. And I'm going to add this theme. And now look at there. It's a little spiffier now, right? And so instead of starting at scratch, I start at edit, right? And I will go in, and of course I have to vet the material, right? Make sure it's saying what I needed to say. I might have to reformat some things to make so, because that's a little too small for presenting it to people, right? I might say, oh, I don't like the way that looks. I maybe want to go to another thing. I want to add some pictures to it. So you can go insert image and you can, lovely, they have stock pictures, right? This is talking about the main idea or central idea. So I can have something that says a light bulb, and I can just literally drop that right on in there, right? And so now that's my great picture that I want to put in there, right? Or, oh, this is kind of jazzy. Look at that, right? And so what I'm doing now, instead of starting from a blank canvas, I'm starting from edit. And I can edit this and make it better and adjust it. I can edit the material and make sure it's saying what I wanted to say. And now I'm almost done with the presentation that I can give to my students tomorrow. And those of us who've been teaching a long time, we know that it takes so long to make great educational content. This just cut that not even in half. I think it cut it like low key, you might just be 25% of what you need to do get done, right? So let's also look at some of the things you can do. So that should answer their question about how can I make a lesson, and that's how you can incorporate Magic School AI. You can also make the audio overview. You can make the video overview, but this is what I love. If you press it, just press it, it's going to take everything and make content. But if you use the edit feature, it's going to let you make some adjustments. Do you want an explainer? So that's about 6 minutes or so, no more than 7 minutes. That's what I normally see of video. Do you want a brief? That's going to be 1 to 2 minutes of a quick explanation. We saw that. And then now they've just added these really cool pictures and icons. Do you want to change the way it's viewed? But here is where it's so important. Right here, I can tell the AI what to focus on. So like I told you, my students aren't finding the central, the relevant details. That I want them to have strategies. And so I can put in here to discuss the strategies students can use to find the central idea, right? I'm sorry, find the relevant details of a text. And I hit generate. Once I type it in here, I hit generate, and it's going to generate the portion of the content that I want. So it's similar to like asking the chat to focus on this. I can tell the video, the explainer, the flashcards, all of that to work, just focus on certain subsets, right? That can be a powerful reteaching tool, because at times we know our student needs this reteaching. We know they need support in this, but I have to make another lesson, and life is lifing. My dog, needs a splint. My daughter, it's cold season, things of that nature. Not that I have kids, but that life happens. My mom wants me to come over and make her something. Life happens, and sometimes you just don't have the time. Now, time is not the issue. And so one of the things that I've been doing is when I see that my students need support, I can give it to them immediately. I can do a quick 10-minute lesson on the things that they need, and I can continue to reinforce. And what I've been seeing with my students is tremendous growth, right? What I also love about this thing gives you is giving me fresh ideas about how to explain something. So I asked it one time, how can I really explain theme and finding the topic of theme at a fifth grade level? Like I really wanted basic, and it gave me some language to use that I've now incorporated into like my lexicon of teaching when I talk to my students, right? Some other things that it can do, it has something called reports. You can generate a report. And so this is a report right here. It's a study guide for a student's guide to mastering central idea and theme. I can take this document and put it in, or take this text, put it in a document. I can put it on a website for my class. Like I can do a lot of things with this. I can take this whole study guide document and turn it into a big presentation if I want to, right? I can use this as a way for my students to review. It will make flat mind maps. it will make flashcards. So here's some flashcards. I will say with the flashcards, it must be done in-house, meaning either you have to show it to the students, or let me explain this, or you have to give students the access to see your actual notebook. And I will say one of the things, I haven't done that yet, but I plan on doing that next semester. For me, a best practice is going to be, I'm not going to give them the one that I'm using to make instructional content. I'm going to make a student notebook, right? That has all of the lessons and materials that I taught in class, because this is 133 sources. It might give them some things that I don't necessarily need them to have because I didn't even discuss it. I want them to just focus on what I've taught in class. So I think what I'm going to do is build a notebook specifically for study purposes and let them explore. Throw some content in there, some flashcards, some videos, and give them an activity that makes them explore. So I'm brainstorming on that. But what I love about this flashcard is it gives you a question, it gives you the answer, and then you can hit explain, and it's going to take it to the chat and explain that to the students. So imagine making them go in, do the flashcards, any answer that you got wrong, hit explain, and now write down the information, right? You have to hit at least 3 explains and write down key information. It will make a quiz for you, but the quiz will have to be done in-house, right? So you can't take it outside. So be mindful of that. I think that's just a powerful tool that you can use. So, couple things as we go back to the slideshow. And as we wrap up. So, what I love about this NotebookLM is how I started using it was taking my old lessons and giving it new life. So I identify one lesson, one topic, one standard that may need refreshing, and I use this tool to transform it, right? I have a colleague that she actually uploads her lesson of the day, just that one document. It's a PowerPoint. She goes to the video overview. She changes, let me show you this. This is so awesome, so powerful. She changes the language. She has a student that is Pashto. She understands Pashto. And so she went and she found the actual words for Pashto because it's written in that language. She found it. And now if I click on it, it'll the language, the audio language, and the text language will be in that language. And so she's using that as a way to support her multilingual learners. And I didn't think of that. So that's the lovely thing about sharing technology and sharing ideas with people. They really kind of help you figure out, hey, you can do something I never thought of, right? So I love that for her, right? And another teacher at our school is doing it. She was like, oh, you're doing that? I'm going to do that with that same student. So now the student is getting support in her native language in 2 classes, but she still has to deal with the content in English as well. So she's getting that great support, right? As I stated, Magic School, you can take information from the notebook and export it and upload it to Magic School to generate those presentations, those visual aids, make pictures, all of that stuff. You can make full lessons. You can tell it to make a bell ringer. So like one time I actually had it make me a bell ringer. I had it give me ideas. Like think of what you do at ChatGPT. Hey, give me some great ideas for projects for this subject, right? And instead of doing it in ChatGPT, that's going to use generic general knowledge. Do it in your chat, in your notebook, so it gives you specificity based on the content and based on the resources that you have. You can customize things for yourself, right? And so this is, for me, this has been a way for me to provide excellent instructional content for my students, right? And then lastly, you can have assessment informed instruction. As I told you, I have told my students, or I have tested my students, or I'm noticing things that they're not getting. And now I can go back and I can ask the chat like, hey, give me some strategies. give me some ideas on how I can support them. I made a great activity for my students for my students to support, right? I went to magic school and I made an adventure game to help them find the theme. But I did that based on the content that I created in my notebook, right? You can use this for reteaching. You can kind of simplify some challenging concepts, right? And so, one of the things that I want to do as we wrap up, give me 1 second, is are there any questions? You can throw those questions in the chat. Are there any questions about the notebook? Do you have anything that you're saying to yourself like, hey, this is any ideas that you can see yourself using? What are your thoughts in these last 3 minutes or so? Those of you who are with me now live and those of you in the chat viewing this, ask me your questions, contact me, reach out. Central Carolina Literacy Council is here to support educators in literacy. And so anything you have, anything you're interested in, give us a ring, give us a write, give us a holler. Those of you who are here with me, do you have any questions? So someone said they made a notebook for Act 1 and Act 2 of a text, and they're chatting about a review right now, right? Also, what I would recommend you do, not only chat, but make a video synopsis about Act 1, like a little teaser, like a little brief. Like before you get into Act 1, maybe make the brief one where it gives them a quick breakdown of the exciting things about it. So it's like an anticipation guide. It can catch their attention. And they like videos. Our students love videos, right? You can ask them great ideas for the that text, right? Do you like it? Does it seem interesting? And so awesome. I hope this has been a help. I hope that this provides you all with some interesting ideas on how you can use generative AI to support your students' learning. I hope that as you are playing with this, it inspires you to help your students in a deeper, richer, more structured way that's focused on them going beyond what they know. I thank you on behalf of Central Carolina Literacy Council, North Carolina Reading Association. We thank you so much for attending this. Please go ahead and look at the chat. If you're in YouTube or you're in Facebook, look at the chat. We're going to have a conference coming up in March. You do not want to miss it. I am over the generative AI strand. I am doing a workshop that Sunday on training the trainer. So I will train you how to teach teachers how to use generative AI. You do not want to miss that, right? And then all through the conference, we're going to have things about AI and how AI can help you not only be a great teacher, but be a teacher that's supporting students with literacy, reading, learning, right? Someone said their focus is teaching research skills. This is great. Make a notebook for that, right? You know, someone said that they are using it to work on with a text. I want you to take this and run wild with it. If you have some new ideas, put it in the chat. Let us know. And with that being said, thank you so much for your time with us and have a great evening.